welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going. And make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. You guys can follow all of our social media there. You can watch the podcast. You can listen to it there. You can find ways that you can support the show there by clicking through our Amazon link and purchasing stuff through there, which helps us out. And you can also help us by going to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod. We'll tell you more about that later. And yeah, you can click around and share it with the people that you know, like, subscribe, review,
all that good stuff. Yes.
Right.
It is scorching here in Arizona.
Yeah.
I feel like it just now.
Well, yeah, it's 3:00. It's like the hottest part of the day. It's supposed to be 111 today.
Well, wasn't it 111 yesterday as well?
It might have been, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
So,
shitty.
yeah, I walk out and I'm like, here we go.
Yep, summertime has started.
I put a little umbrella in the front to take care of my plants.
I saw that.
So hot.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they look so sad. So I went out and gave them some water and then just added a little umbrella. I'm probably going to be shopping at Amazon because I know there's probably something like that too.
Give them shade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So today when we were having, was it breakfast or brunch? One of those with the kids.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation.
Who is?
You and I are having a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And the kids start annoying each other.
Yeah.
And I can see what's happening, you know, in that moment. You know, Joey's touching Audrey underneath the chair with his feet.
Yeah.
And Audrey has this thing about feet. She just does not like feet. She barely even likes her own feet.
Yeah.
But her brother is just poking at her and poking at her. And I remember my brother being that way with me. I mean, can you relate?
Kind of, yeah.
What do you say?
But I was a lot older than my brothers and sisters. Like, I didn't have close.
What, wouldn't they pick on you?
I think.
Wouldn't they poke at you and mess with you to annoy you?
The youngest ones didn't, but yeah, but not as much because they knew that they would be left alone with me. There would be consequences to pay.
Okay. And so that's what was going on this
because I was like 8 years older, and it's like, you keep fucking around, they're gonna leave sometime.
Right. And as parents, when you are constantly like going through this, it's just annoying and aggravating, especially when you're trying to have a conversation with your significant other and all you hear is screaming back and forth.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to plan something, or we were talking about something, and you could not get a word in.
No, I was trying to share something. I can't remember what it was, but it was like the fucking third or fourth time that I was already trying to share it. And every time that I was trying to say something, I would get cut off by one of the kids, or like, it's just a constant interruption.
Yes. So Joey is 11 years old, and I was thinking back, like trying, just doing my best to relate to the situation. And then you responded and broke it up. But then I started thinking about social cues. Like, I don't think anyone ever talked to me about social cues. And I've never really heard that kind of conversation with kids or around kids, because I feel that is something you need to teach.
Is it?
What do you think? I don't know. I mean, I don't
know if you need to teach everything. There's things that you figure out. And sometimes you get slapped by an older sister, and then you figure out that you need to stop fucking with her.
Right.
Like, that's how, oh shit, social cues. There you go.
But that is something that's really important.
Next time I should back off before my sister gets that look in her eye.
But that is something that's important that a lot of people don't have.
Some people just don't have it. Yeah.
Right. And so that's the conversation that I started having with Joey, is paying attention to social cues.
Yeah.
body language,
Yeah.
tone,
Right.
all of it. And I was just thinking back, like, is that something that when did I learn that? Or did I always have that?
Yeah. I don't know.
But it's something important to think about as a parent.
I think that's something you just pick up like over the years of having friends and dealing with different people and different attitudes and different types of people and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But too, if you can have that conversation with your kids to help them to understand, it might help with a lot of situations that they're going through right now that they're unaware of.
Yeah.
Like if Joey's trying to talk to a little girl.
Yeah. Well,
and
like the one-upping, that's one thing. That's kind of like a social cues type of thing. Because when kids are little, they're always fucking one-upping each other. Like they don't understand the concept that like your friend is trying to share something with you and you're just trying to be like, oh yeah, well I got this. And then it's like, you just shit on their story, but you don't even get it because it's a social cue that you don't have until finally your parents are like, hey, when your friend is telling you, yes, you have that. Like if one of Joey's other friends comes over and says, I got this transformer.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. What's Joey going to say?
Right.
Nice. What is that? You know what I mean? It's like, understand that's his transformer. Let him. Cool. That's awesome. I really like that one. I got some like it. You could say I have some like it.
Right.
Let's go check them out. Yeah. But you don't have to like, oh, I got that one and I got the other ones too.
Yes. And all of that I feel needs to be taught.
Yeah.
For one, we have a nephew
True.
that did not get that or understand that. And he was 12, 13. And still, that was something that took him a while to learn because it's not something that he was taught.
Right.
So some kids learn it on their own and with a bunch of hard lessons.
Yeah.
Or you can teach your kids about social cues so they don't have to go through all the heartache or,
Yeah.
just helping them to become aware. And that's also humility as well.
Yeah. It's a combination. Like you have to learn some by going through certain things. And then there's some, like you said, you can be taught.
Right.
And it helps.
Yes. And so that's a topic that we were talking to Joey about.
A little while ago.
Yeah. Very recently, actually.
Yeah.
Because too, like Audrey's not, she's going through her emotional monthly state. And she is impatient. She's tired. And a lot of times she will play with him. And that's what I was telling him. There's times where you can poke at her and then she'll come back at you and you guys are just like wrestling or hanging out, having a good time. But she's not in that space right now.
Right.
And so when she responded very loudly, he got upset.
Well, and that's when we started talking when I mentioned to him about his pride. Because that's his pride thing. Because if I don't think she responded.
She just was very loud. Stop. Like very firm and
But that
loud.
wasn't the first.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the first. She had I'm sure already made a face to him or something like a face, a social cue that he didn't pick up on.
Yes.
And then he kept fucking with her until she, flipped out on him. Right?
Right.
I don't know.
And then that's when he got upset. But that too.
But that's where we were talking. Well, he got, like, she flipped out on him because of something that he did to her.
Right.
But then he's going to get mad because she flipped out on him. And that's where we were talking to him about his pride. It's like, even though you messed up because she gave you a clue, like, stop messing with me already. And you kept messing with her. But you still want to be right. So fuck you, I'm still mad.
Does this sound familiar to any of you adults that are in a relationship?
Right?
Because we even do this as grown-ups, right?
Yeah.
When you're in a relationship, and you're kind of poking at the other one. But there's sometimes too where it's unexpected. Like when you're feeling a certain way. This happened where you were upstairs. I can't remember what it was, but I said something to you and you were not in the mood and you responded in a certain way. And I was like, dude, I was just playing with you. But you weren't in that state at that time. And then I did get butthurt, but then I realized, I can't remember. I think you were going through something with your skin. And you're pissed off because you couldn't practice with jujitsu and you were just annoyed.
Yeah.
And then I walked in messing with you and you were in that state of mind. So you barked at me.
Yeah.
But we do that even as adults.
Yeah.
And I guess it's all part of communication. Mm-hmm. Like communicating. Be like, dude, I'm, with Audrey, dude, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not in the mood. Can you please stop?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've told Joey, I've been telling Joey, like, hey, not right now. Like, go, just leave me alone for a little bit. Because especially with kids, I think his age, they're just fucking relentless sometimes. It's that they fucking pop up out of nowhere and they don't fucking stop.
Right.
It's like a broken record. A broken record. Yeah. And it's
we've been going through.
Dude, go.
I know. You know what it is? Because I noticed that we've been talking a lot about the kids lately.
Yeah.
On the podcast.
We're learning a lot of lessons right now.
Well, it's because it's summertime. So
yeah, because they're not in school.
We're with them. Yes, like we're with them and
that's why I'm drinking.
Going through. I looked at you like, isn't it kind of early?
Fuck no. Damn it! I should have did it in the mic.
Yes, but it's because they're on summer break.
But like I said before, like that's when the parenting, like that's when it counts. That's when it matters. That's when parenting really kicks in. Is when it's time to fucking be a parent. When it's frustrating. When it fucking is. Yeah, when they're pissing you off.
Yes.
But
that's when you start to get to practice being conscious and being patient and being all that other stuff.
You have a lot of growth opportunities.
Exactly.
That reminds me of one of my old managers. He always used to come up to me, Miguel, I got an opportunity for you. I'm like, oh fuck.
Oh, right.
But he would say it joking around, but he would come to me, because he knew I had a good attitude about it. Like I wasn't gonna say no or like give him a hard time. Yeah. It's like, all right, what is it? I'll do it,
Yes. This past Saturday, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Because I wanted to talk about Audrey's birthday party.
Okay.
So Audrey had a small birthday party. It was something she wanted to do. So we didn't really invite any family. It was just a friend group that she wanted to invite. And she, a couple of the friends she's known since we've lived here. And they have always been the ones invited to the birthday party. And I noticed that some people were not here and were not invited.
Yeah.
And so I recognized this and I had this thought because I was taking pictures of the kids. There was like a kind of like a photo, not booth, but
just a wall. Yeah, you set up like a backdrop.
Purchased and there you go, a backdrop. And so I'm taking pictures, and while I'm taking the pictures, it came to mind like, oh, some of the kids that were here were not here, not because they couldn't make it, but because they're no longer friends of Audrey's.
From like old parties or old get-togethers?
Right.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about her maturity level and the things that she had to go through and her being strong enough and aware enough to know that the people that she let go were no longer serving her. Not serving her like in that way.
Yeah.
But they were not for her. Just say it that way. Like they were not for her. And one of them was like her best friend.
Yeah.
Her best friend. And unfortunately, they started to, people change. They grow apart.
Yeah.
And I remember when she was going through that difficult situation. And think about this, adults. There's so many times that we have people in our life that are toxic. And sometimes it could be even the person you're living with.
It could be your spouse.
Or working for.
You got to go. No, that is not what you that's a tough one.
A serious conversation. And of course, my husband has to like.
Miguel and Sonja said your ass got to go. All right. I can't take no more of this shit.
You know when someone's toxic. You know it because you feel it in every part of your being. But her being so young, I remember her and I having the conversation and me just asking her questions and her giving, her friend several chances.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just kept turning out to be the same. And she made the decision that I can't be friends with her anymore. It's not good for me. And I'm just thinking to myself, such a proud mom, because there's times where I had to do that in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult thing to do, especially when you've been with someone or been a part of this person's life for so long. And for her to be that mature enough to make that decision and really make that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's so cute because I know her friends. There was one here that was very new that I had just met, but I know all her other friends. They come out, we hang out.
Yeah, she's had those friends for a while.
Yes. And I love the fact that she likes me to be around them, right? Like she's when I have. She's
comfortable with you and everybody else.
Yeah, yes. And they love me being around too, And so while I'm taking these pictures, I'm having her take one with each friend by herself.
Yeah, in front of the backdrop.
Yes. And then we did a group. But each friend, there was a different relationship.
Yeah.
Like obviously her boyfriend. It's so cute. Like you can just see the expression, the closeness. And then she has another friend from choir.
Yeah.
And the way they pose and the way they are with each other.
Yeah.
You go to the next photo and it's her friend Daniel, who is kind of like, they're really close. And when he goes through a difficult time in relationships or in life, Audrey is there to soothe him, to help him, to mentor him. Yeah. And you can see that relationship. Like you can see their bond is different than the previous picture, the girl that she knows from choir. They sing together. It was more like a feminine pitch, more, and with her other friend, Daniel, it was just like that loving relationship. And then the neighbor that she's known since we've lived here is older than her.
Yeah. So she's like, Audrey's like a little sister.
Yeah, it was like, and you can see it just by viewing the pictures, like the different relationships. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
It's like the different relationships she has with each and every one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you can see it in the pictures.
Yes. And then just witnessing them and how different they are, because I took similar pictures from the previous birthday party, but they are so much bigger.
Yeah.
This time around. It's going to be so sad.
Audrey's actually,
I want to put them together.
Actually, Audrey's exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
From
but all the others,
they've all grown.
Like,
we should tell her that.
No, they are
She'd be
all sad. Yes. But I can't wait because I want to put them all back to back.
Yeah.
And I want to make that for her.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like an album just of her birthday parties.
It's going to be bittersweet because some of the friends that were in the picture before were not in the picture.
But they were always good times though.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she said that this was one of her best birthday parties.
Oh, that's awesome. I was so happy when I heard that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when she was having her party, like she's 14. And I was just kind of thinking about...
She's going to be 14 on the 5th.
Yeah. She'll be 14 in a couple days. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of thinking like the parties at 14. Mm-hmm. Because at 14, I was growing up in New York. And we were maybe at that age already. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were already going to house parties and stuff like that. And it's like the party that we had here for her and her friends compared to what I would be going
our parties
at 13 or 14, It was nice because it's just like an innocent, just like good time with all the kids.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. There was an innocence to it.
Yeah. It was nice.
Yeah. So that was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. And so I had something that I wanted to talk about with Joey, and it kind of has to do with the well, it was a lesson that we were talking to him about at the table, and we were having breakfast, we were having brunch again. It was one of the other days, and he had said something like about the eggs that I made, right? And he said because he likes his eggs where the yolk is soft.
Like sunny side.
Yeah, like over easy, sunny side. He likes the yolk to be soft, and I overcooked his a little bit more. And he said something like, "I wish there was more yolk." Like it wasn't anything big, but I caught it. And not that it hurt my feelings or anything, but I was just like, "Hey," I was like, "Maybe you didn't notice this." I was like, "But instead of saying that I wish there was more yolk, or pretty much saying I wish these eggs weren't overcooked."
Yeah.
You could say these beans were really good, or the chili that mom made was really good, or something else, anything else except for saying something negative.
Right.
Especially, I mean, I didn't say this then, but especially when there isn't shit you can do about it. The fucking eggs are made.
Right.
You know, like what am I going to jump out of my seat and go make new eggs? No.
Yes.
So saying something positive.
Mm-hmm.
But then that turned into a whole conversation about pointing out negative things,
right,
and how you can get on a roll. Like when that is the way you see things, you see them from a negative side.
Yes.
That is a habit that you develop.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
That is a habit that you can fall into.
Mm-hmm.
And we started talking about like, hey, if you, instead of pointing out that the eggs are overcooked, talk about how good the beans are, or how good whatever, this other thing is, that also, the other thing it does is it starts putting you in a point of gratitude.
Right.
Because you're trying to see what is good about this. Oh, the beans are good. Okay. You're happy that the beans are good. That automatically puts you in like a state of gratitude.
Right.
Which if you constantly do that, that changes your whole personality, your whole attitude, your vibe, everything.
Yeah. Because he's building
with him, like, dude, right now we have talked so much on these last few episodes about Joey and about all the shit that's been happening.
Yes.
And it is the truth. Like right now we're learning the most with Joey. Like we're going through the most with him, and we're going to figure it out because that's what we do.
And not only are we teaching Joey, we are learning from Joey. Right?
And
because
Joey,
as much as we teach them, they teach us. So being aware of your emotions, right? Like, okay, I am about to flip a lid right now. I need to cool down, and gather myself so that I don't say something that's hurtful or that's mean, whatever, right?
Right.
But staying aligned so that you can teach and give the advice. I wonder if, I want to ask this to them. Do you think they get sick of us always constantly?
I'm sure.
Turning something into a lesson.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. They fucking hate that shit.
Because it's like every chance. But that's the way. It's like, okay, this here is a learning. This is a lesson. Yes.
I just got a great idea.
What?
Let's fucking crank the lessons up. And we'll tell them, when you learn this shit, the lessons will fucking stop. And we'll start sitting them down for fucking everything. We'll turn everything into a fucking Buddhism moment. You're learning from this shit. Oh, there's a speck of something on the plate. Let's sit down and have a discussion. You know what I mean? Let's fucking break it down for a second. And they're going to be sick of that shit.
So what I do, because trust me, this has been a thought, right? Because we all were 11. We all were 14. And what do we do when we are just sick of our parents talking, we completely learn to tune them out.
Yeah.
So whenever I am having a conversation with Joey, it's like, hey, dude, so what did you hear me say? What did you hear me say?
Yep.
Right? Checking in on this kid because I know already. I know as a parent, and I tell him, listen, I know, dude. Like, I know you probably get so sick of us, like, just teaching you and challenging you and, you know, just the responsibility. Yeah, like it takes us so much energy. I said, but you know, I don't want to go back, but it would have been nice if I would have had that as a child. You know, like just it is what it is, and I am who I am because of how I was raised. So I appreciate, you know, the woman I am and all the lessons that I've learned. But we're cutting the time that our children have to suffer in order to learn lessons. Like they're going to be like, hold up. I remember my mom having a conversation with me about this and relationships and boys. Oh, this is what she was talking about. Okay.
Well, and I think also because we're always talking to them about stuff. As they get older, they'll come to us when they have stuff.
Right.
Like, because I think they'll go through that phase once they leave where they're gone and it's like, whatever. But it seems like there's always that phase when they come back and they realize, they're like, oh shit, like mom and dad were way smarter than I thought they were.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
What, like once they live life a little bit, maybe like when they're like 25 and they're like, oh fuck, I really don't know much of anything.
Right.
Like the world is way more complicated than I thought. I thought I had shit figured out, you know, which happens maybe around 25.
Yeah. And that makes me feel good. Like with what you just said, like mom and dad, right? Like mom and dad, all right, they weren't as dumb as we thought they were. They actually knew some stuff.
I don't think that they would think that we're dumb, but they are definitely tired of the fucking lessons.
But what I'm saying is because you get to a certain age, right, where, you know, my amazing power, you know, strong woman of a mother went through a lot of suffering because she had, you know, she started off life at the age of 13 having a child.
Yeah.
And missed out on a lot of education. You know, so there was so much because I am the middle child. I have the wiser mother. You understand?
Yeah.
My sister Lorraine had the young mom, like the young mom. So there's a whole lot of difference between my older sister,
right,
my sister Diane, who's, you know, who passed, myself, and then even my little brother, because we all got my mom at different ages and different stages of her life.
It's funny that you say that because I had that thought not that long ago about my own siblings, you know, and about like the difference between, like, even though we're brothers and sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and our lives are completely different.
Yes.
Like completely different. Like me growing up with my dad is different than my two little brothers growing up with my dad. And then them, you know, living with their mom.
Mm-hmm.
And like but we're brothers, you know?
Right.
Like it's about as close as you can get.
Right. And that, you know, my mom being such a young mom, you know, she always would go back and try to get her GED, but she had to work to keep food on the table. Like it was just constant hustle, one parent in the house. So, I mean, how much time do you have when you're working one job, two jobs, and then trying to go to school at times? I mean, how much time do you actually have to pour into your kids? When
you're just trying to survive.
Exactly. And
you're
when
trying to
she
feed your kids,
is trying to learn herself.
Yeah.
You know, she's trying to learn life herself. So how do you teach life when you don't even know what that even is? You know? So, yes, I had to learn these lessons on my own. And it wasn't just on my own, because I learned a lot from her as well. I learned a lot of what not to do, you know, and I'm so grateful for my upbringing, because I wouldn't be the same person, you know. And our children, when I got to a certain age, I realized that some of the things that I was taught was not really the truth or the right knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get to a certain, yes, you know, like work, right? Like, just, you know, work to, you know, paying off bills or debt, you know, just all of those things. Yes. That life, there's so much more to life than what I saw.
Yeah.
Because what you see is what you do, is what you learn, right? You and I, though, with the kids, I know that the knowledge I give them is good knowledge, right? Like, I know some things when it comes to business, when it comes to raising children, when it comes to relationships, right? Like, there could be more.
I think it's also, it's tough. It's a combination of a lot of different things, because it's also a different time.
Yes.
We have YouTube.
Right.
How many parenting YouTube videos have you watched?
Right.
How many parenting YouTube videos did your mom get to watch?
And books.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But there's like, also books, babe. There were knowledge out there. Tons of knowledge.
But now it's the access to knowledge is freaking, and that's why there is no excuse today.
Right. And really, there was no excuse back then either, my love.
True.
The difference is we are parents that read. Our kids, they see my face in a book. You listen to a lot of audio.
Yeah.
But the kids see me reading in the front yard. They see every, I think, room. There's books in here. There's books upstairs. And even though it takes me a while to read a book, to finish a book, they see me reading.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing my mom read.
Well, we're always learning something.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, when the kids see, even though they see us reading, Audrey reads now, but Joey fights us on it. But when he gets older, it may be something that he doesn't fight and just give into. Like, my dad's a pretty smart guy, and my dad read, and my mom's pretty knowledgeable too, and she read. So maybe I should pick up this book and start reading it.
Or maybe it's going to take when he finds that thing that he is super interested in, or when it's time to actually start getting going on something that he's interested in. You know, like if it's geology or whatever, he's going to have to start reading things for that and figuring out math stuff for that and whatever it is. And whenever he starts getting that motivation, because I was telling you also, like, I mean, over the last few weeks or months of this podcast, it may seem like, you know, we're always talking about Joey and all the things that we're trying to figure out with this kid and motivating him and trying to get him to do the things that he's supposed to do. And I was also thinking, like, what if in 2 years from now, we're looking back at this shit like it was a fucking phase, just like it is with everything else. And we were stressing out about it, and we did what we were supposed to do, and we were all worried that, man, this kid's gonna live with us forever, and he's, you know, like,
I'm not
worried about that either. But I'm just saying, like, it is a thing. Like, he needs to find his motivation. He needs to find, and maybe that's just all it is.
Yeah,
it's just, we'll look back at this at one point, and he will look back and be like, you know what, my mom used to work hard. I saw my dad work hard. They didn't make excuses for shit. And, you know, if I really want to do whatever that thing is, maybe at that point, it'll make sense to him.
Yeah. I just, you know what's a bit confusing? And we've talked about this today. We've talked about this before, you know, because I'm the parent that is very loving, and I mean, you are as well.
Yeah.
Right. But what I mean is, you are a realist.
Yeah. Very much.
And what would you call me?
A spiritual being.
I do see the good in all things. Plants. Yeah. I mean, just everything. Right?
I'd be like, there's a cloud. There's a cloud.
Yeah.
There's a cloud.
But I will find the rainbow, or I will find clear sky somewhere. And so when I talk to Joey a lot of times, he is a very intelligent little boy. I tell him, you have your daddy's mind. Like, you have your daddy's brain, dude. Like, he's constantly thinking. Very smart kid. I mean, I see a lot of you in him. As a child, you fought school too. You didn't want to read. You were doing everything but that until your senior year.
I think he has a lot of,
he does.
He does have a lot of that shit. So, and it wasn't like Audrey. We asked Audrey, when did it happen? When she what? Chose.
When she made a decision. So when I talk to Joey, I come from that light. I come from that space with him. But yesterday, what did I tell him? I was asking him about his work. Oh, he was giving me a hard time about vocabulary. Like, Mom, why do we need, if I can use good.
Yeah. Right.
Right? And good, everyone knows what good means. Then why do I need to use any of these other words? It doesn't make sense. Why do they make life so hard on us? And the spelling, these words.
Babe, you're giving me fucking anxiety. It's like I'm sitting next to Joey. Jesus Christ.
Like these
I'm about to tell you, shut up. You know, I was like,
good. Like he's like, how is that O-O? How is that G-O-O? That doesn't make sense.
He's getting fucking pissed at the founders of language.
You know, so I'm sharing with him, and he's like, and he's getting himself really frustrated, and I'm having him, look up the words, and he gets up and he's about to quit. And I said, Joe, do you want to know why this is so difficult for you and challenging for you? And why you have, it's not that he has like a third grade vocabulary, because there's times where he throws out words, right, that are up there. But for the most part.
But third graders might do that too.
Right. And so I was just being the realist.
Being a realist.
My dad, like his daddy. Right. And I just said, because I'm like, well, maybe fluffing him, like just. I don't know. This is what I did. And I said, listen, dude. I said, the reason why you have a third grade vocabulary is because you keep quitting, just like you were about to do. That is why. And he looked at me and he said, ugh, so I'm dumb. I am just dumb. And me being the person I am, I'm like, that's not.
Don't fall for that shit.
I know. But me, I felt that for a moment. And I said, listen, dude, do you want to know the truth, or do you want me to lie to you? You are a very smart boy.
Yeah.
And I started going off and sharing, pulling things out of the cookie jar and telling him, hey, what are some things that you do good today? What are some things that you do good today? And he says, well, I can solve a Rubik's Cube, but I did look up a video on how to do that. And I said, Joey, I can look up that video, and I still wouldn't learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube.
No.
You figured it out because you wanted to figure it out.
Yeah.
Transformers, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, he's been doing
And
it forever.
even though he had some help, he's really good at it today. But it's because it's something that you wanted to learn. I said, Joey, do you know how to ride a bike today? Yes. How do you ride the, how are you on a bike?
I wonder if he remembers.
I'm pretty good.
Like learning how to ride a bike, because that was a long time ago, but I do remember like him being, I remember him being angry.
Yep.
Riding his fucking bike because he was angry that he couldn't ride his bike.
Yep.
He's like, I can't ride. And he's like, ride. Yep. I'm like, looks like you're fucking riding to me.
Exactly. He's always had that in him, that just fight to learn. Right? It's constant.
Fighting,
and with
learning.
Skating. Yes. And skating. He skates. Were you always good at skating? No. Did you give up? No. That's why he can skate today.
Yeah.
I'm like, Joey, so I'm having to show him all these things. I'm like, all you have to do is decide.
Yeah.
Just decide. Give in. Because what's going to happen is if you quit now, you're going to pay for it later. Because when you're adult, guess what? Reading is everywhere.
Yeah. You
right?
Can't avoid it.
It's everywhere.
Right.
So either you're going to put the time in it today, which you're younger, so it's easier to learn, versus when you're an adult. And then we were playing a game. We were playing What Do You Mean? And it's reading cards. It's reading the cards.
It's kind of like the Cards Against Humanity. Every card has like a little phrase on it or something like that.
So last night we were playing as a family.
And I was going to point this out to you, but I didn't want to make him feel bad or whatever, but maybe we should have. The game is 8+. It's 8+.
Yeah.
So if you're 8 years old, you should be able to just play the game.
So with the game and how it works is there's a picture and the picture has faces.
Yeah, it's like a funny picture or whatever. And you get the phrases that you're holding in your hand and you're kind of making the best meme.
Right.
But depending on whose turn it is, you pick the card that would go best with that person's personality and the picture that's being played.
Right. And I think that takes does it? Like social cues when looking at the card. What is a person
like
reacting
whose turn is it?
to?
Who's the judge?
Is it? And so that's why I'm like, is it the reading?
Kind of like Joey. If I see that it was his card, I had a couple farting cards that I was going to put on there because I knew he would laugh.
Exactly. But so what was missing? Was it the reading or was it the social cues part? That game is really good for us to teach him the social cues and how to, right? Like daddy, right? Just putting that together. So when we were playing the game, I was trying to figure that out. And that's why I had asked him the question. Like I had asked him if he can read it out loud or something like that.
Yeah.
But I said, listen, Joey, I said, dude, I'm like, you're struggling right now and we're just playing a game.
Yeah.
Imagine if you quit now and you become an adult. What challenges are you going to have?
Right. Yeah, I was having a talk with him just a couple days ago about the same thing. I was talking to him about quitting. I was talking to him about, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret, and, whether you're going to pay that now with discipline or you're going to pay that later with regret. And you're going to wish that you could, go back and do better in school or learn how to read better or get in better shape or not spend all your money or all that stuff. But speaking about quitting, I don't know if I mentioned this on the last podcast. Did I talk about, because I had talked to you about what happened in jiu-jitsu and when I was, because, well, first of all, it's been a long freaking road back to me being able to train. Like I think I kind of mentioned it quickly on the last podcast. But since the beginning of this year, we're 7 months into this year. And when I look back at it and I think about it, it's been nonstop with just things getting in my way.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all this crap going on. But I'm just getting back to training finally. And jiu-jitsu is one of these things that you have to do it consistently so that your mind and your body are working together at the same time and thinking and moving. Because the thing is that if you're thinking, you're almost too late. You're almost too late because you should be fighting more based off of instincts. And instincts only come from training and from drilling and from practicing over and over and over again. I mean, anybody that's done any skilled like craft knows what that's like. Like I know what that is with sheet metal. Like with sheet metal, when shit gets all fucked up, like there is a certain skill that you pick up over years and years of doing things. Yeah. And you have to, so jiu-jitsu is one of these things, but it's also that you have to like constantly do it, because if you're out for a month, it takes a little bit for your brain and your body to kind of get back together. And like
that's so interesting. But yeah,
it's weird because like right now, today was my third class back. Mm-hmm. And I've had this rash on my arm that has lasted for like freaking 2 months. And it's finally better. But I'm at the point right now where like I can't attack much because I'm trying to defend and survive a lot of things and not end up in bad positions and all this kind of stuff. But I don't know if I mentioned last week that I was fighting with somebody. I couldn't have because it was recently. So I was fighting with somebody, and this dude, I got him like in this move that's called the triangle. I have my legs around his head and his arms, and I'm laying on my back. And it's a good move, but it can be not so great if they pass it. Like I could choke him, but if he passes it, then I end up in a spot where he's on my side, and it's uncomfortable for me. He ends up in side control, smashing my head. And when I was fighting with the guy, I get him in the triangle, and he was waiting for me to adjust. And as soon as I adjusted, he threw my legs over and passed right into side control and started smashing me. And it was uncomfortable. It was like it was literally my first day back. And when somebody is passing to side control, I know already, like my first instinct is defend my neck and my head, because if they get control of my head, it's going to be uncomfortable. The way he passed, he automatically passed with his arm under my head, smashing my head down. So I was already screwed. And in that moment, I didn't think about anything. All I thought about was how bad it sucked to be there. Mm-hmm. What I did think is, fuck, I can't get that arm in. He's got his arm under my head and he's smashing me. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. Fuck. And I defended a little bit, but it was uncomfortable. And I didn't continue to defend, and he ended up getting into mounting, sitting on top of me, which is even worse. And then I started to defend a little bit, but then I didn't, and I kind of left an arm hanging out there, and he was able to choke me. And that was it. It was over. And that's pretty much quitting. Like, that's what that is. Like, if you can defend and you don't defend, you quit. Bottom fucking line. You want to be real about it? I'm being real. I quit, right? I had my arm hanging out, and I defended a little bit. I could have kept defending, but I didn't. And
why didn't you?
Because I wanted to be fucking done with that shit. Like, I was tired. I was getting crushed. And I quit. But then when it fucking sucks. But the thing is that the only thing that really, like, it would be really, the only way that it would be really bad is if I quit and I never fucking did jiu-jitsu again. That would be bad. Right?
Right.
I just never, that's it. I fucking quit.
Done.
I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Like, I came home and I was kind of thinking about it. And I thought that I quit. And then I was like, what should I have done? Oh, I remember now. I should do what they tell me to do when I'm in that position. Because there is something that you're supposed to do. You get your elbow in. You push against their hips. You bring the other arm around. You push against their face and their throat or their shoulder. You make some space and you get your knees in. You get into a better position. But I didn't try any of it. You know? So I was thinking, I was like, next time, instead of just giving up, like right off the fucking, like, oh, fuck, this sucks. Just think about the first step. Get that elbow in and push off against their hips. Create that space. That's it. And, but for me, like, that's kind of normal. You know what I mean? Like, I think these things, like, yeah, you fucking quit or whatever. And then I'm like, what do I do better now? Like, that is the way my mind works. And
that's how you learn.
But I did quit, and I was telling Joe, like, I was like, I need to share this with Joey.
Good.
You know? And I did share it with him. And I was like, you know what, though? I was like, I quit and I lost. I was like, but you know what's really cool about this? I was like, next time, if I end up in this position and I remember to try to get my elbow in and push off of his hips and to try to get the other arm across his face, if I can even do that, I won. I could get tapped out. I could get some, you know what? I could try it and it could not work. But I still won because I thought about it and I tried it. I was like, that's the win right there.
Right. What you just shared, I hope those of you that are listening or watching took note, because it is so important for our children to know when we make mistakes, coming from a vulnerable place, so that they can see, and I've talked about this, that we are human, that we make mistakes, and we're sharing that with them so that when they make a mistake, they won't be so hard on themselves, but know that, okay, this mistake, there's a lesson. What could have I done instead?
Yeah. And the other thing that I was talking to Joey about, which we've talked about on here, which I've talked to him about a million times, is that the other thing about this move is that, like I mentioned in the beginning, I try hard as hell to not even end up in this position, right? Like, I'm always defending my neck so that they can't get that arm under my head and crush me down into the mat. What is the only way that I'll get good at escaping from that position?
By putting yourself in that position.
There is no way that I'll ever get good at escaping that position if I'm always defending my neck and I never get back into that position, into that shitty position where they have their shoulder on my chin and they're forcing my head the other way. And it's uncomfortable. It fucking sucks. You have to. It's what we've been talking about the last few weeks. All the shit that you don't want to do. All the things that you dread doing, that I dread doing. Everything that we want is on the other side of that stuff. You know?
Yep. Faux show, faux show. Anything else?
Yes.
Coach Miguel.
I'm just saying. So, it's also, we got 4th of July coming up. For you guys have already had 4th of July. But we've made this tradition recently, even though this year is a little different, but we've made this tradition of going to watch the fireworks at the baseball game.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I was hoping, we had invited my brother. I was hoping he would make it, but unfortunately he's not. But we are taking our nephew Randy.
Yeah.
And our kids, and I think it's going to be beautiful.
It'll be
fun. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, and hopefully it's a beautiful night.
I'm a little disappointed that we're not going to see the fireworks, but I'm excited that it's the Mets game.
I'm very excited for you. Yes, because that's something that you've been wanting to.
Dude, I've wanted that for a long time.
Yeah,
I've wanted to watch the New York Mets play here for a while, and it's happening on 4th of July, and we'll be there.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
I had talked to my brother because I was reaching out to him, and he said sorry, that he couldn't make it. Yeah. And he wants to spend more time out in Flagstaff because they leave a lot, and he's like, that my nephew needs to find some friends out there and, just kind of make it home there. But it's hilarious. So us grown adults have parents.
Oh, yeah.
That sometimes.
Well, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah. Just do some things that are off the wall. And some of us take it very personal and try to detach from our parents, or we get pissed off, or, it's just, yeah. Anyways, hilarious. I was talking to my brother, and my brother and I, our relationship has grown. I don't know if I talked about his situation, but he was in a very tough relationship. 20 years. They were babies when they started, and then had babies having babies.
Yeah.
And
anyway, you don't have to get into that.
So he was in a relationship that was not healthy and made the decision to get out, and it's like night and day. Like just totally night and day. And I'm so proud of him. I am so proud and so happy for where he's at today. And we talk a lot. Like normally it's weekly, every other day, something like that. So anyways, I had called him because we had invited him to go to the game with us. And he had sent me a picture that my mom was in town over there. And he was telling me while we were on the phone that they went out to eat at his favorite restaurant. And he's new to Flagstaff.
Yeah.
So a lot of the places that he personally goes to, those are the places that he goes to, and he's getting to know people. And
right.
So he takes my mom to his
it's a small
favorite,
town, right?
to his favorite restaurant. And my mom orders, enchiladas, and they're too salty. And so she starts complaining, and she sends them back. They bring her green, right? Chili enchiladas. And the same thing happens.
Nope. No bueno.
And finally, they bring her some tacos that she's okay with. But my brother's sitting there and he's like, we're talking on the phone and we are laughing so hard because he is so embarrassed. He's like, there's girls there, and, if I was, I'm single right now. So if I was with somebody, I wouldn't have cared. But I'm thinking, this is a place that I go to on a regular basis, he says. And here my mom is sending everything back. And I started laughing so hard because I've witnessed that myself, taking her out to eat and her not be happy and complaining about everything. And it is embarrassing, but it's so funny. And then he said that they had went shopping together, and just the way our adult parents are. Like I told him, because he's like, it didn't matter what was going on. Whatever was on their mind was coming out, and it doesn't matter who was around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's hilarious. I said, because as children, we are that way. Whatever comes to mind, it comes out, right? Like there's no filter. There's no filter.
That is true.
Yeah. So
then when you get old, that happens too.
I think so. I think so because a lot, and my mom's not even, like that old. But it's true. It's like whatever comes to mind, there is no filter. It's just coming out.
You don't have to think about it. You don't have to second guess it.
Not at all.
It's just like this. Yeah. Why'd you lock me out the house?
Right.
Why'd you do that?
And him
because you don't want me here anyway, right?
Him and I were just laughing.
I'm saying that's what my grandmother said about Sonia. It was the same thing when we took my grandmother out to go eat.
Yeah.
It was the same. She thought we were trying to kill her. I'm like, Grandma, we're just trying to take you out to have a nice dinner. I wasn't trying to make you shit your pants.
Oh my
it's unfortunate that that's what happened. But, you know.
It happened with my dad
and then Sonia locked her out.
It happened with my dad. My mom thought you locked her out too in the house.
It's like, why? Why would we do that?
I know. But it was the same thing like with my dad when I took him out to eat pho. It's like the #1 pho place in Arizona. And everybody goes to it. And I take my dad to it. And I knew that he'd never tried it. I knew that.
That's where you fucked up.
But I'm like, I want to give him something new, like a new experience. Like I'm all right, thinking good, thinking positive. And oh my God. No.
The plate
He's
gets
like,
there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. He's like, where's my food? I'm not a rabbit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but it's just, yeah, it's hilarious. And I don't know if it has to do like with Mexican parents or is it just parents in general?
It's like once
I
you get
have
old.
no idea, but it was so great sharing, you know, our stories together and having that hard belly laugh
Yeah.
about our parents and relating to each other.
That's
you know?
cool.
And it was cute
That is fun.
because when my brother was telling me that my mom was showing up kind of just like at the last minute and she was an hour away and she called him, hey, I'm an hour away. And right.
Your nephew was like, oh shit.
And he's a bachelor, right? He lives with his son or his son lives with him.
Oh, you could just see. I wish there was a fucking camera in the house.
Oh, that
you could see, oh shit, you're an hour away. Fucking they're scrambling. Nana's on her way. Start cleaning shit up.
Well, listen, so as soon as my nephew hears that, he's like, if grandma is anything like my tia Lorraine and my tia Sonja, I need to get to cleaning.
Hey, we should get your brother like one of those red lights, like a police light that he could fucking light up when families coming. Like if his sisters or his mom's coming over, you know, rooms will be checked. There will be inspections. You know, it's like start cleaning shit up.
He was telling me, but I don't say anything. I just start cleaning. I just started mopping. I just started cleaning for him when I got there because he's a bachelor. I said nothing. I just
No. Did you say what our nephew said?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Like if my nana is anything like my tia Lorraine or my tia Sonja, I need to get to cleaning.
Yeah,
and
start
my
cleaning.
nephew or my brother was like, and he started cleaning right there and then.
That's hilarious.
But my brother was sharing with me that when they were at the restaurant, right? Because there's this, you know, girl that he's kind of been, he said, you know, just kind of like giving that eye look to or whatever. And and Junior says like he can see that she's like listening, like paying attention. And my mom starts asking my brother, "What do you clean your bathrooms with?"
Oh my God.
Like, and he starts laughing. Like she asked the question, like my bathroom's dirty, you know. Shit. And here's this girl, and it was just so funny. It's like feeling like a child again, like you know.
That's funny. Yeah,
like my mom's gonna embarrass me, like you know. And he says I should have just taken her to the little Mexican restaurant around the corner that I've never been to.
And never go back to again. It's like
yes,
that's hilarious.
But it was very cool.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, why don't we give some updates, because we figured out the name of your podcast, right? And we're getting started with making the logos and all that kind of stuff. We've talked about my podcast, the new podcast that's going to come out in September. So yeah, we can kind of do our final plugs because we just kind of went right through and give some updates. So what's up with your podcast?
So the name of my new podcast will be Soul to Soul. Soul to Soul Conversations, or I'm thinking Soul to Soul Podcast. But it's going to be a conversation with individuals that have had spiritual experiences, sharing their life, how it's helped them, how it's
other
helped
spiritual
them
beings.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So that's going to be very exciting.
Do you have any idea like when you want to start?
No, I'm not even thinking about that because right now the retreat is
number one.
Yes. And then
and your clients.
Maybe yes. Maybe I can't just set a day. I need to look at the calendar and see.
Yeah, I think definitely.
But I want to actually start recording before I even start it. Like I want to have
episodes
at least like 5 episodes.
Just ready to go.
I can have more than that. Yeah, just like ready to go. Right. So I'll probably already have like the recordings in play before even it comes out. So as soon as it. Yeah.
Well, the retreat is going to be in September.
The end of September.
Right. And I'm sure once we start like figuring out more exact dates and all that, then we'll let you guys know about it. And if you guys are interested in coming out to the retreat, you guys can do that. You guys can send us a message. You guys can give us a call. You can message us on our website or follow us on any of our social media if you want to join that. And my podcast is also, it's going to come out in September 7th will be the first episode. I don't know. I just picked that because it's my birthday and it'll be fun.
I'm like, wait, what?
And it'll be fun. Like, well, I'm going to have to get everything done before that, obviously. But it'll come out on my birthday. That'll be like my birthday.
And our wedding anniversary.
No, it's my birthday.
And our wedding anniversary.
You can't hijack that. We just we did the celebration, the ceremony. But so yeah, Fighting for Your Life. That'll be coming out September 7th. And yeah, we're gonna like pretty soon you'll start seeing things coming out because we're working, like we said, we're working on all this stuff. Yes. There'll be a new clips channel coming out for the podcast. So they'll be separate, just the episodes and the clips will have their own channel. So look out for that. And you guys can subscribe to that. We'll put all the information out for that when it comes. So make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. Like we said before, the best thing that you guys can do is share the podcast, share clips, review, comment, like, subscribe, thumbs up, all that stuff. And what's another way that they can support us, babe?
All that good stuff. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod and you can buy us a virtual drink, and you can also subscribe on a monthly basis.
Yep. And if you want to support the show when you guys shop on Amazon, you can go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com, click the support the show link. That'll take you to our Amazon link. Anything that you purchase when you click through that link and check out helps out the show, but it doesn't cost you anything extra, and we really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you guys for your love, and thank you for your support, and thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast.
Where we get better
together. Bye.